Hi, welcome to Top Shelf Takes, the only show on the internet that is made up of complete fact and no opinion whatsoever. Today we're going to be talking about the best Avatar the Last Airbender characters of all time. All right, guys, couldn't be more excited to get started. This week's guest, we're going to have the one, the only. Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Autumn.
Autumn was nice enough to join us, and she suggested, in honor of the new Avatar Studios that was just announced, we do the top 6 best Avatar the Last Airbender characters. So we're going to decide that today. My name is Tim. I'm one of the hosts of the show. I'll pass it off to this gentleman on my right.
I'm Dylan, co-host and roommate to the Tim Etzel.
And that's Tommy. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it. But before we get going, I need to hand things over to our judge this week, Mr. Dylan Frazier.
Setup's pretty simple. We're gonna go 6-1. Each person's gonna get an introductory statement, if you will, of 30 seconds. Will be timed by me. And then once the 30 seconds is up and everybody takes their initial pick, there's a 3-minute kind of just go for it, total argument. You argue for your character, you got to argue against other people's characters. And then based off of all that combined time, I, as the judge, will make a final verdict for the official, completely undisputed top Avatar characters of all time.
Number 6. Now, some say this character is just there. And to that I say, you are right. But, you know how stinking cute he is? You know what's also good? Peaches. You know what also means peach? Momo.
And time! Wow, Tommy, I was really hoping I could cut you off without you even saying who
Tommy,
the person was.
one of these times your massive lead-ups are going to fail to get the character's name in, and it's not gonna make it. Okay, for my number 6, I'm going with someone who I actually disrespected when I started binging the show. I'm going to go with Sokka. Sokka, I grew up thinking, was kind of the lame duck of Team Avatar. I didn't like some of his antics, and I didn't think he added much. Boy, was I wrong. Sokka is the leader of the team. He goes in, he makes the strategy, he doesn't need bending plans, and he's very funny. And he grows over the series. He becomes a better person. And that's for a lot of characters, but for him, we just see him mature.
And time.
And become a man.
Tim, you've come a long way.
I have.
With Sokka.
Yeah, I do just want to say, for the record, I went in with my childhood memories of disliking Sokka, and you know what? I ate that statement.
That was the most angry speech I've ever heard you give.
Yep, and I was
wrong. Him ready to punch someone.
And I was wrong.
If that person would have been Sokka. But I'm proud of you. You've come around.
Thank you.
So my 6 pick, I never had a problem with them. I kind of like them. Team Avatar. I have to agree with Tim. Sokka, number 6. He's great. He's funny. Again, like Tim said, he like grows as a person. He's no longer a sexist at the end. Cool. Yep. We love that. And he's a good leader, and he learns to wield a sword even though he can't bend. So he's just as important as any other member.
And time.
Will you guys agree that Momo can't be higher because he's kind of useless?
I don't think Momo should be on this list, to be honest.
Okay, Sokka 6.
You're not gonna even fight?
Sokka's my 5, so
you don't.
I can't put him.
So you don't want
Sokka to be higher?
No.
You're just
gonna 5. They're interchangeable.
It's Sokka at the number 6 spot.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so my number 5 pick is actually Aang. While I think he's obviously the center of the story and very important, I can't say he's the best, but I do appreciate that he sticks to his morals throughout the entirety, even though people tell him he can't when he's fighting the Fire Lord. And he's just a goofy kid throughout, and that's fun to watch, especially when you're a kid watching it. You can relate. So.
And time.
Okay, my number 5 pick is going to be Katara. I'm staying in the Water Tribe. I really like Katara. She's kind of our narrator and kind of oversees the whole story as we go through. She's a confidant for much of the team. She in her own right is a bit of a leader for the team. So I think Sokka and Katara kind of split that role. Her water bending makes her an absolute badass. I really like Katara, but there are 4 characters a little more nearer to my heart, so I'm going to put her at number 5.
Well done. Tommy,
Well,
your number 5 pick that you don't have to concede, remember. The floor is yours.
I've just decided that someone has to go on 5 because I gave up Sokka. So I am proactively making my number 5. You know what is funny? That the show only really did once? A parody. You know who was a good parody? The Boulder.
The Boulder holds a spot near and dear to my heart, but I have to
I
remain,
know he does, and this is a suck-up pick.
I have to remain impartial though, Tommy, so I wish you the best of luck.
I think the Boulder's very funny. I do. And it's a good gag that keeps coming back. But you are arguably up against the 2 main characters of the show, I think it's fair to say.
I don't think I put him in my top 12.
I just
We can do the show twice. He's not going to make my list.
the Boulder's a funny one joke gag, but I
Just
don't
hear me out.
think he holds a candle to Aang.
Do
and Katara.
they beat the Fire Nation without the Boulder?
Yes. 100%. It's nice to see him show up, but yes.
Sorry, that Daughter Army was not going to win.
You know what Autumn, addressing Aang for a second. Here's my thing. I don't have the strong opinion against Aang Tommy does. Tommy doesn't like Aang. I have no real strong opinion towards him. He didn't make my list, mainly because I knew he'd be probably on your list. And I was like, okay, cool, we'll get a mention in there. But I just think of these 2, no offense to the Boulder, but of these 2, Katara is just a little more, she matures a little more throughout the series. Aang kind of doesn't want to do the work that is needed to save the world a lot of the time, which can make him a bit of a stick in the mud. I think, and then Katara goes through that whole bloodbending arc, which is badass and very cool. So I personally would put Katara over Aang. I have no strong feelings towards Aang. He just didn't make my top 6.
What's funny is Katara didn't make my top 6.
Interesting.
And solely because it's not that I don't think she's important. She narrates the story. I think she's just like, she's important, but I don't think she's the best. Like, she's powerful, but like, she doesn't like, because she plays that supporting mother role, she doesn't add in the quirkiness to the show that I love about the characters. Again, badass, but I find Aang to be at least like a more lovable character.
Yeah.
And also you feel like, I feel bad for him because he's like the only airbender left. And like, how lonely must that be? And how he like overcomes that. And like, it's just a really cool journey he has. I'm also partial to airbenders. So, I mean,
You'll see on this list I'm partial to firebenders, but I get it. I'm not conceding here. I'm just saying you're giving the first real argument I've heard for Aang that I really like, where the show gets very dark, but you have this one character that stays very much a kid, and the show is essentially for kids. So I like that.
Well, I heard you guys' arguments. There wasn't a lot against the other person's pick. There wasn't a lot of like knocking down, except for the Boulder.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I thought we forgot to say anything bad against the Boulder, and I was
No,
like, is
but
he seriously
but
gonna?
You didn't say anything bad against Aang. Autumn didn't say much negative against Katara, but then you like gave Autumn some free points by like being like, yeah, Aang's cool, and talked about Aang. And for that reason, I think I have to give it to Aang.
You know what I like? Someone who watches all this, oh, woe is me bullshit, and then tells people to pucker up. So I'm going with Toph.
Okay. For number 4, I'm going to go with Azula, the best villain in the show. She surpasses Fire Lord Ozai in every single way. She is so evil and like terrible, but yet she's very sympathetic in a weird way. She is like just like a child that was just neglected and basically told by her mother all the time that I don't like you, you're crazy. So of course she goes crazy. She thinks the throne is rightfully hers. She is a perfect foil to our heroes, and they save her for the second season.
Time. Squeezed it in there. Good work.
Thank you.
Autumn, your number 4 pick.
So my number 4 is also Azula. She originally wasn't on my list, but then I was like, wait a minute, she has to be. And it like obviously everything Tim said, she's super powerful, she's dope. But like you also see just like the tragedy in this villain that you absolutely like. I hated her watching it, like absolutely hated her. But then you like see at the end just like how tragic she is, and you like learn so much. It's just like so cool to see that in a kids show.
And
That
time.
I was like, whoa.
So I just want to say, you're right, I did Toph dirty. Toph actually got kicked off my list by Azula. She was originally the number 4 spot, and I put Azula on and then couldn't bring myself to knock off Sokka or Katara. So yeah. My main argument against Toph, I get it, she's 12, but she does come off a bit bratty to me a lot of the time. And I get it's a show for kids, but it does slow down the plot for me a lot. I know Toph is like the internet's favorite character in Last Airbender. I get it. Just, I'll be honest, when you look at the 4 nations, and this is a personal bias, when you look at the 4 nations, I feel like everyone has that one they just don't quite get. And I don't get the Earth Nation, to be honest. Fire Nation's my favorite. I like the Water Nation's really rad. Air Nation's all right. Really just, I don't really get the Earth Nation. It's not my speed. But yeah, no, I just think Azula is such a deep character. I really do. And they don't betray her in any way by like revealing why she is the way she is. Like they don't suddenly make like, oh, she was the good guy all along or anything than that. And the coolest thing about Azula is she knows what she is and she just doesn't care. Like she's so self-aware and confident in herself, and she's like, yeah, I am a monster and I'm okay being that because it gets what I need done.
I also think this should be 4-3.
Or
What?
what?
I think Toph should be 4, Azula should be 3. Say what the 4 nations are actually called, because it's not Fire Nation, Earth Nation, Air Nation.
I was gonna say that.
What am I missing?
It's Water Tribe, Air Nomads, Fire Nation, Earth Kingdom.
My mistake. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Are you even a fan?
I
No,
am
he's-
a fan. I just apparently I dropped the ball on what the 4 nations are called.
And you know what, Tim? The ball's made of glass.
With Toph, I think she should be higher up on the list. I think Azula has to I think Azula fits at 4. I agree that like with everything Tim's saying about Azula, and I hear you out, Tommy, about Toph though. So, but again, like I think she's cooler. Like the internet, yeah.
Again, like not Tommy. You didn't say anything against Azula. Like not
I said
anything.
higher.
Huh?
I said should be higher. I think there's a definite 1, 2 in best characters,
Oh well.
not number 1.
You didn't dispute her against Toph at the 4 spot. Think I have to go with Zula. Autumn's still beating you, and Autumn also hasn't lost a round yet.
All right, so my number 3 is Toph, and here's why. Not only is she a badass bender, like she invents metal bending. Hello, that's freaking cool. She's like becomes this part of Team Avatar after Team Avatar already formed, which is cool that they get to add in another personality. She's also just a good representation on TV for kids, normalizing like people have disabilities, and that's totally cool. Which I think was something I didn't see.
All right, here we have a show that's essentially about 4 groups of people that have superpowers, and most of the main characters, barring Safa, have to make their way with the bending. Here, But what is the most badass thing in Avatar The Last Airbender, in my opinion? A group of women who literally become Ronin soldiers. That's the Kyoshi warriors in respect to the old Avatar. My number 3 pick is Suki, who in a different world would be my number 1. She isn't even a member of Team Avatar, and she still comes in and just decides to help out to fight the good fight. She's amazing in every way. I love Suki. I think I'm out of time.
Oh, you're out of time. I was drawn by your argument.
My number 3. So as a child, you know what I thought was weirdly cool?
What?
Face scars. And for that reason, I'm going with Zuko. So imagine instead of an eye, you had what used to be an eye. Instead, you make it look like fire.
He has an eye though.
Yeah, he's not just
Both his eyes.
on an eye. Okay.
Actually,
First of all,
they never talk about him being kind of visually impaired. There's no way he sees good out of that thing.
You got a point.
okay, so addressing Zuko though, not even talking about the scar on his face. Zuko is such a deep character that's so well-rounded. He
Yeah.
deserves to be higher, much higher, in fact. Spoiler alert. I think Zuko needs to shoot up this list for more than just his facial features, for what the show torments and pushes him through. I think Suki, I put her at number 3. I took the L there because personally she might be my favorite character in the show. And I know that's a hot take. I know that's crazy. But here is a world where everyone has superpowers, and she shows up and she's been like, hey, I've trained my whole life just to be a warrior. I have this group of other warriors behind me. We're just gonna fight alongside you. And she's kind of the unsaid 6th member of Team Avatar. Like, she's right alongside them. I can't get over how much I love Suki, how cool the Kyoshi warriors are. She's kind of the Batman of the Avatar the Last Airbender universe. That's not too much of a stretch. She doesn't have any powers and fights right alongside with the team with her ninja skills. That's Suki. She's amazing.
I worry that Toph's not going to make our list, and I feel like she
Toph
has
needs
to
to
make our list. Again, she invents metal bending. Like, I get that she can be a little whiny, but I feel like that's because she's supposed to be a kid, and again, it's a kid show. And like, while I found her sometimes annoying, I also thought she was just a like complex character of like dealing with parents who are very overprotective and being told she can't do things because of her disability, and how she's like, I'm gonna prove the world wrong, and she does. And she's just a tough cookie, and like exactly what Tommy said earlier. She's like, suck it up, Buttercup, like go do the thing. Like, Team Avatar needed that person, and that was her. Like, did they need Suki? She's great, but did they need her? They already had 5 members.
Okay, Autumn, I have a deal for you. I've been watching a lot of Shark Tank in quarantine life, so this is what's going through my head right now. I think both of our characters deserve to be on this list. No offense, Tommy, I don't mean to cut you out. I just think Zuko deserves to be higher. I think both of these characters deserve to be on this list. We have even ground on Sokka. I think whoever doesn't win should forfeit Sokka and get Sokka's spot. But only if we both agree to these terms.
No, I think
No?
Sokka has to be
Okay.
on.
No.
Sokka's a non-bender. Like,
Sokka's
kinda
not better than Sokka.
But Suki is essentially the same as Sokka, except she trained to be a ninja and like has her own force behind her that just
she
rises
doesn't have the
out.
character arc that
No.
Sokka has. Granted, we see more of Sokka, but like, we don't see Suki grow. We
Okay.
just see her as a badass, which is cool. But
Yeah.
like,
She takes on Azula. Like, that's my favorite fight in Avatar the Last Airbender, when you see Azula's crew roll up and they have to fight the Kyoshi warriors. That's amazing. Respect for Toph. I think the Kyoshi warriors just don't need bending to be like such badasses in a show full of badasses.
And
They
Tim, let me point something out.
Mhm.
You forgot the greatest fight in Avatar.
Is it the one where Momo and Appa are like all decked
It
out?
is the one where Momo and Appa fight.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I knew where you were going with that. And yeah, you're not wrong.
I still have to stand with Toph. I can't take Sokka off the list. Toph, like, again, like, how cool is it that she can use her powers in a way when she actually can't see? And she is like kind of like one of the, not the original Earthbender, but she draws from the original Earthbenders and is like so stripped down in her form. Like, that doesn't exist in the Avatar Earth Kingdom world. Like, she is like true to form. The only closest Earthbender to her would be like Boomy, and he's cool. He almost made my list. But I don't know. I like Suki, but I kind of like didn't care enough about her.
Okay.
And time. I let that run a little more, but I like what I was hearing. We've got some good stuff going on. It's heating up. It's what we like to see. This is really kind of tough. It's between two. Sorry, Tommy. It's between Suki and Toph. And the number 3 spot goes to Toph, and another point for Autumn, who is just sweeping the floor.
My number 2 pick was the rightful throne. Rightful person. I'm trying that one again. My number 2 should have had the throne of the Fire Nation. Because guess what? Everyone takes over the planet if you can. And it's Azula.
So you know that he's gonna be 1 or 2, so I'm not gonna keep you waiting any longer. I'm gonna give you the uncle we all want, Uncle Iroh.
You're wrong.
My number 2. Sorry if you disagree. I think Uncle Iroh is absolutely amazing. But I didn't have him at number 1 just because I don't think he has to go through what Zuko has to go through in the show. The emotional arc that Zuko's forced to go through, the like just change in humanity. I think Iroh is the support system that we all want. He's the best buddy cop in the world.
Good save on the laptop too. Autumn.
I tried. I was battling like with both eyes closed because my Zoom camera decided to just shut off. And so I didn't know what I was looking at. And so I was just like, I'm just going to keep talking and hope I make sense.
Well, at number 2, I'm in the same boat as Tim, I think. But I went with Zuko. But I just flip-flopped it. And Zuko is obviously has the best character arc of the show. Don't get me wrong. And he is the edgelord of the show and everyone loves him, and you know he looks great with his hair when he grows it out and whatever. But I do love Zuko. I think he's very important to the show, and I love that he goes from villain to hero throughout the 3 seasons.
And time.
Yeah, I'm loving this fight because I mean I'm very Fire Nation biased, so just having the Fire Nation in the top 2 all around, I love these characters. Look, I feel like I don't like fighting against Zuko because obviously I have him a little higher than number 2. I just think it hurt me. I love Iroh and Zuko. I stand by that they're the best buddy cop cartoon thing that's ever existed. I'd watch them all day. They're the best part of the show. I just think Zuko goes through a little more.
Would Zuko be anyone without Iroh?
Nope.
Like, he truly would not be anyone.
He'd be dead.
As in, he needed Iroh to go through this character arc. Like, Iroh was the reason he had this journey. As in, like, obviously Zuko had to make decisions for himself, but like Iroh was the one pushing him to go down the right path. So,
sorry.
Okay,
I just want to address that because I knew it was coming. I get you, but Iroh wouldn't be anyone without Zuko. Iroh needed Zuko.
He was a distinguished Fire Nation Army general.
No, he
saved
was
the dragons.
He was a sad old man who was cast aside. He wasn't anything. He won everything back by helping Zuko, and in helping Zuko reclaim his identity, Iroh reclaimed his. It's
I wouldn't say that he was
Had a full life before
no
Zuko.
one though. Like, if you okay, here's my argument for Iroh. If you think about it, while Aang is frozen, Iroh is the closest thing to an avatar this world has. It's because he is the only one like that we meet that actually cares about learning from all 4 nations to make him a better firebender. He's also all about peace, even after he was part of the war and like caused, harm to people. He realized like, oh, that's not the way. Also, he's in touch with the spirit world. Like, how can you top that? Like, he's truly like above everyone else.
Okay, well, here's another point. Okay, Iroh went through his change already. Iroh is essentially Zuko much later because Iroh went through that change. He was about war. He was vicious, and he chose the life of peace and the life of learning and a life of expertise. That's awesome, and I know he helped Zuko become that, but I want to see that, and I did see it in Zuko. Zuko did go through that journey. I saw that on screen, and yes, he couldn't have done it without Iroh, and that's why Iroh is a perfect number 2 to help the pinnacle of Avatar the Last Airbender reach his spot.
And time.
Whoa.
Another tough round, and it's gonna be tougher again next round when you're just gonna argue.
Yeah, we're gonna argue the same thing.
Way.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the same thing again.
I should change my answers to give a third option.
But I'm gonna have to go with Iroh for number 2. It was
Really?
it was gonna be Zuko, and then Tim, your closing point where you kind of countered everything Autumn had said was what kind of tipped the scales a bit for me. However, Autumn, you can keep arguing for who I assume is Iroh at number 1.
My number 1, hands down, has always been Iroh. He is that teacher figure that everyone needs. I think it's super important for a kids show to have like a teacher figure help guide these other characters. I'm gonna keep arguing for Iroh. I'll get into it more with the 3-minute thing.
Okay, my number 1 is without a doubt, it is Zuko. Zuko is the perfect example, cartoon or not cartoon, story of redemption. He tries and fails so many times to do the right thing. Literally at the end of season 2, when any other show would have had Zuko just join the good guys and that would have been it, Zuko fails again. He falls, and he has to fall because he has to suffer and learn and see what the other side is. He has to become
And
the
time.
Mhm.
Tommy, flip this around on its head. What's your number 1, sir?
Before I say it, how funny is the cabbage guy?
Dude, he was an honorable mention.
Oh,
for me.
the cabbage guy's awesome.
Fantastic.
Rest in peace, Uncle Iroh.
He did?
Uncle Iroh's fun. Yeah, that's it. I wanted to make that pun.
Oh, well, okay.
Tommy, you didn't see your character.
I said Iroh.
You said rest in peace, Uncle
Yeah, you said
Iroh.
rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yours
so
is
Iroh.
Iroh too?
So you went Iroh. Let's hear it. Another 3 minutes. Iroh versus Zuko. Begin.
Okay, so what I was saying in my original round was, in any other show, when Zuko would have turned good at the end of season 2 and joined Team Avatar, they didn't go that route. They went the more complex route where Zuko got the thing he has wanted basically his entire life. He gets it. And he has to betray Iroh, and it breaks his heart, and it makes him miserable. He has to doubt who he is as a person and give up everything that he's ever wanted just to learn. Like no other character makes that much sacrifice in this show. And on screen, Iroh does make a ton of sacrifice. I'm not trying to fight against Uncle Iroh. I love him.
Then
but
forfeit.
I'm not going to forfeit.
We will let you die on your sword nobly.
Here's the thing with Iroh though, like, okay, Zuko, like, sacrifices a lot, but like Iroh has to be the one to forgive. And it's not easy to forgive, especially in that case. Like, hello, like, here's this guy who's clearly had shit thrown at him his entire life while he's just trying to like redeem himself and do the right thing. And then the one person who he's like putting all his energy in, who he's like treating as a son because he lost his, like turns on him. Like the fact that he is so easily able to forgive, like he is just the purest character out there. He's just the best. And like on top of that, like he has so many, I just like am baffled by the fact that he has so many opportunities to kill Aang for Zuko. If you think about it, like he has the opportunity to like capture Aang to help Zuko, which could have been a way to get on Zuko's side, but Iroh chooses not to, even though he's definitely way more powerful than all of them there.
Okay, here's another angle. When Zuko's not bending, he is the blue spirit, another ninja who can just break in and just get Aang out of prison. Don't forget about that part of the show, because that is lit. It's so cool.
That's
also
lit, but Iroh is like one of the leaders of the White Lotus. Like he has a whole network of people across the entire world.
He runs the Illuminati, Tim.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I know that Aang and Zuko go to train with the original firebenders, but Iroh did it first, as in Iroh did it all by himself.
Yeah.
He didn't need to be an avatar involved to get that going. He was just a random firebender who's like, I'm going to learn the ways. And he did.
Zuko didn't go with Aang to do that, though. Like, he didn't not want to go alone. He was bringing Aang for Aang's benefit. Like, it's not like Zuko was scared to do it on his own and brought Aang.
Zuko would have never had the opportunity, though, without Aang. Iroh gave himself the opportunity.
But Iroh's a lot older than Zuko. Give Zuko a few more years, and he would have gotten there. He was learning everything that Iroh taught him. He surpassed Iroh and took on everything that he learned. Zuko goes so far as to sacrifice himself to try and save Katara. Zuko makes every ultimate sacrifice possible, just like Iroh, from his teacher. He learns everything and builds on it.
Again, though.
But you know what?
Go ahead, Tommy.
Zuko will never give as great hugs as Iroh gives.
Does he make the best tea?
No.
I'm sure that Zuko does not make as good tea as Iroh. I would never.
No, in fact, we know he doesn't.
Did Iroh get a mid-show glow up that made the character look so much better?
No, because he was sexy from the beginning.
Yeah. I would argue that Iroh was the one who was alone, because he really was like shunned by his brother, and like was considered the kooky uncle that no one cared about. I would argue that he was alone. He lost his son. He lost his brother, essentially. His father didn't even like him, even though he was the oldest and should have taken the throne. I would argue that Iroh has had a harder time with loneliness, and yet he overcame it and was still there, able to support everyone else around him.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to have to bump Iroh to the 1 spot.
I literally wrote it before Dylan said it.
And put Zuko at the 2. Also, Tommy, you got on the board because you had Iroh first.
Only at the number 1 spot.
That counts for 2 points because it's number 1.
Yeah.
In this case.
I'll allow it. To recap, 6 through 1. Number 6 is Sokka, provided to us by Tim and Autumn. Number 5 is Aang, given to us also by Autumn. And number 4 is Azula with Tim and Autumn. Number 3 is Toph, solely Autumn. Number 2 is Zuko, solely Autumn. And number 1, the best character in all of Avatar. Undisputed. You can never argue this ever again. Yeah. This is it, and I don't think there's much debate here. It's Iroh, provided to us by Autumn and T-Biz.
Yeah.
The final scoring, Autumn has 6 for 6. Didn't miss once. Tim, you had 2, and Tommy also had 2 by getting the number 1 spot correct.
All right, guys. I hope you had as good a time as we did making this list. This is the undisputable list. You can never argue with it again. I apologize. So these are the top 6 best Avatar the Last Airbender characters of all time. I would like to thank, first of all, my 2 co-hosts, Dylan and Tommy. Extra shout out to Dylan for being our wonderful judge this evening. And then a big thank you to first-time guest, Autumn. Autumn, we'd love to have you back to the show if you'd like to come.
Heck yeah, I love debating.
I say that not knowing who the judge is going to be next episode.
Woo!
Leave a comment down below with who you think should be the best Avatar the Last Airbender character of all time, or what your list would be. Yeah, please like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.